Chapter 27 Chavdi Procession. In this chapter, Hemadpant, after making some preliminary observations on some points of Vedanta, describes the Chavdi procession. Preliminary. Blessed is Sai's life, blessed is his daily routine. His ways and actions are indescribable. Sometimes he was intoxicated with Brahmanand, that is divine joy, and at other times content with self knowledge. Doing so many things, sometimes he was unconcerned with them. Though he seemed at times quite actionless, that is, doing nothing, he was not idle or dozing, he was always abided in his own self. Though he looked calm and quiet as a placid sea, he was deep and unfathomable. Who can describe his ineffable nature? He regarded men as brothers, women as sisters and mothers. He was perfect and perpetual celibate, as everybody knows. May the understanding, that is knowledge, we got in his company last long unto death. Let us ever serve him with wholehearted devotion to his feet. Let us see him in all beings, and let us ever love his name. Hemadpant, after making some lengthy dissertations on some topics of Vedanta, which he himself considers as a digression, goes on to describe the Chavdi procession. Chavdi procession. Baba's dormitory has already been described. One day he slept in the masjid, and on the other day in the Chavdi, that is a small room building containing a room or two near the masjid. This alternate sleeping in both these buildings went until Baba's Mahasamadhi. From 10th December 1909, devotees began to offer regular worship to Baba in the Chavdi. This we will now describe with grace. When the turn of retiring to the Chavdi came, people flocked to the masjid and made bhajan in the mandap, that is the courtyard, for a few hours. Behind them was a beautiful ratha, that is a small car. To the right, a Tulsi Brindavan, that is a planter with holy Tulsi, and in the front, Baba, and between the devotees, pond of bhajan. Men and women who had a liking for the bhajan came in time. Some took thali, chiplis, and kartal, mridang, kanjari, and gol. These are all musical instruments in their hands, and conducted the bhajan. Sai Baba was the magnet who drew all the devotees to him. Outside in the open, some trimmed the divyatas, that is torches, some decorated the palanquin, and some stood there with cane sticks in their hand and uttering the cries of victory to Sai. The corner was decorated with buntings. Round about the masjid, rows of burning lamps shed their light. Baba's horse Shamakarna stood fully decorated outside. Then Tatya Patil came with party of men to Baba and asked him to be ready. Baba sat quiet in his place till Tatya came and helped him to get by putting his arm around Baba's armpit. Tatya called Baba by the name of Mama. Really, their relationship was extremely intimate. Baba wore on his body the usual kafni, took his satka, that is short stick, under his armpit, and after taking his chilim, that is a clay pipe used by sadhus for smoking cannabis, and cannabis was placed a cloth over his shoulder, became ready to start. Then Tatya threw a golden embroidered beautiful Sheela, that is a shawl, over his body. After this, Baba then moved a little, the bundle of fuel sticks lying there with his right toe, and then extinguishing the burning lamp with his right hand, started for Chavdi. Then all sorts of musical instruments, tashe, band and horn and mridang, gave out their different sounds, and fireworks exhibited their different and various colored views. Men and women began singing Baba's name, started walking, singing bhajan to the accompaniment of mridang and veena. Some danced with joy, and some carried various flags and standards. The Baldars announced Baba's name when he came onto the steps of the masjid. On the two sides of Baba stood people who held chavaris, that is an ornate fan, and others who fanned Baba. On the way were spread folds of cloth in which Baba walked on. Being supported by devotees' hands, Tatya held the left hand and Mahalsarati the right, and Babasaheb Jog held the chhatra, that is umbrella, over his head. In this fashion, Baba marched on to the Chavdi. The fully decorated red horse named Shamakarna led the way, and behind him were all the carriers, waiters, musical players, and crowd of devotees. Harinama, that is the name of the Lord, chanted to the accompaniment of music, rent the skies, as also the name of Sai. In this manner, the procession reached the corner, when all the persons that joined the party seemed well pleased and delighted. On coming to this corner, Baba stood facing the Chavdi and shone with a peculiar lustre. It seemed as if the face of Baba glittered like dawn, or like the glory of the rising sun. Baba stood there with concentrated mind, facing north, as if he was calling somebody. All the instruments played their music while Baba moved his right arm up and down for some time. Kakasaheb Dikshit at that time came forward with a silver plate containing flowers besmeared with gulal, that is red powder, and threw them on Baba's body off and on. The musical instruments played the best at the juncture, and Baba's face beamed with steady and added radiance and beauty. And all the people drank this lustre to their heart's content. Words failed to describe the scene and splendor of the occasion. Sometimes Malsapati began to dance, being possessed and obsessed by some deity, but always surprised to see that Baba's concentration was not in the least disturbed. With a lantern in his hand, Tatya Patil walked on Baba's left and Bhagat Malsapati on the right, holding with his hand the hem of Baba's garment. What a beautiful procession and what an expression of devotion. To witness this, men and women, poor and rich, flocked together there. Baba walked very slow. The Bhaktas followed on them on both sides with love and devotion. With joy pervading the whole atmosphere of the place, the procession reached the Chavdi. That scene and those days are gone now. Nobody can see them now or in the future. Still remembering and visualizing that scene and sight, we can bring solace and comfort to our mind. The Chavdi was also fully decorated with a good white ceiling, mirrors, and sort of lamp. On reaching it, Tatya went ahead and spread an asan, that is multi-layered mat or seat for the holy person, and placing a bolster, made Baba sit there and made him wear good angarakshaka, that is coat. Then the devotees worshipped him in various ways. They put on his head a mugget, that is crown with a tuft above, placed garlands of flowers and jewels around his neck, and making his forehead with the musk mixed vertical lines and a dot as Vaishnava devotees do. They stared at him for long to their heart's content. They changed his headdress now and then and held it aloft on the head. Fearing that Baba might throw it away, Baba knew the heart of all and meekly submitted to all the methods without objection. With these decorations, it looked wonderful, beautiful. Nanasaheb Nimorkar held the chhatra, that is an umbrella, with its beautiful pendants which moved on in a circle with its supporting stick. Babu Saheb Jog washed the feet of Baba in a silver dish and offered arghya and worshipped with due formalities. Then besmeared his arms with sandal paste and offered thambul, that is betel leaves. Baba sat on the asan, that is the gadi, cushion throne, while Tatya and others kept standing and falling at his feet. When Baba sat on the gadi, supporting himself against the bolster, devotees on both sides waved chamar and fans. Shama then prepared the chilim and handed over to Tatya, who drew a flame out of it by his breath and then gave it to Baba. After Baba had his smoke, it was given to Bhagat Malsapati and it was then passed round to all. Blessed was the intimate chilim. It had first to undergo many ordeals of penance, such as being treated by the clay pot maker, dried in the open sun and burnt in fire. Then it had the good fortune to get the contact of Baba's hand and his kiss. After the function was over, devotees put garlands of flowers on his Baba's neck and gave him nosegays, that is a small bouquet of flowers, and bunches of flowers for smelling. Baba, who was dispassion or non-attachment incarnate, cared a fig for all these necklaces of jewels and garland of flowers and other decorations. But out of real love to his devotees, he allowed them to have their own way to please themselves. Finally, Babu Saheb Jog waved the aarti over Baba, observing all formalities, the musical instruments playing their auspicious tunes. When the aarti was over, the devotees returned home one by one, saluting Baba and taking his leave. When Tatya Patil, after offering chilim, attar, that is scent, and rose water, rose to depart, Baba said to him lovingly, "Guard me. Go if you like, but return sometimes at night and inquire about me." Replying in this affirmative, Tatya left the Chavdi and went home. Then Baba himself prepared his bed. He arranged 50 or 60 sada chadars, that is plain shawls made of fine white cashmere without any ornament, one upon the other, and making his bed, went to rest. We shall now take rest and close this chapter with the request to readers, and they should remember Sai Baba and his Chavdi procession daily before they retire and go to sleep. Go to Sri Sai. Peace be to all.